Alright guys, I'm going to do a little how-to video of how to use reed switches. I'm using two different things here to operate with reed switches. One of them is a Digitrax DS64, which those are very easy to hook up a reed switch to. And the second one is the NCE Switch 8. Now in order to go and use a Switch 8, you have to have a optional button board. Hook it up as recommended to go ahead and use the NCE Switch 8 with the Digitrax setup or your NCE setup. And in order to go ahead and get this to operate with either a single push button or a single reed switch, it must be programmed. Now for those of you who are using a Digitrax system, you actually have to go to and reprogram CV548. So you would have to go to program mode and press your right throttle to add 4. You go to your CV548 and set that CV to 1. That now toggles it to a single push button operation setup versus a dual type setup. Now to hook up the reed switches, you have a common. It's basically just like hooking up the toggle switch or a dual push button, except now you only need one. Down over here at the bottom, they're all labeled off 1 through 8 coming across the whole bottom row, and then you have a common. Okay, and then you want to go ahead and use your common to go up into one side of the reed switch. Then the other side, it doesn't matter if you pull from the A and B on one, they both work the same. However, what I did was for my Digitrax mode, I didn't want to go ahead and pull directly track power to operate my tortoises. I'm running all tortoise switch machines. So instead of plugging in everything through a power plug, I'm running a 12 volt power supply, and I just went ahead and soldered 2 wires onto the back side of it accordingly for my positive and negative leads, and I just put some hot glue on there just to go and hold the wires up in there so it didn't, go ahead and tear off. But that allows me not to go ahead and use this plug-in right here and wire it all directly through a remote power input. Now you can still go ahead and use DCC with it, so you can operate it with your throttle. You just hook up your track power up over here. But however, when the switch machines are being thrown, they're actually pulling the power off your DC power supply. Now when you hook them up, this is a reed switch right here. Let's see if I can get this in here to focus. And they are quite small for a reed switch. Now this right here actually operates this turnout. So when I take the magnet and I put the magnet up over there, it changes the points from being closed to open, or vice versa. It works very well. I can still operate the switch with my throttle as well, so I can run it one of 2 ways. So if you don't know my layout, all you do is just hold that up over there. There's no need to know any addresses on this layout. And I'll probably have maybe some guides or something, but I think that a stick with a magnet on there, which I plan on using my uncoupling picks and installing magnets on the ends of the uncoupling picks, so you only carry around one tool while you're operating this layout. Just like these two right here, same thing. These will all be operated with a harp switch stand. You will have to go ahead and look at the switch stand to know if you're on a main route or a diverging for any section on this layout. Now we'll take a walk up over here where I have a temporary harp switch here hooked up just to see how it would work. And here it is. My update video, I did not have the track power on, and I needed the track power on in order to go ahead and do this. So right now I'm on mainline route, so this train right here is on a diverging route. It should have been changed. So you just take and put the magnet up over there, and then we go ahead and see a change up over there on the harp switch. Do that once again, and it's back up to the mainline route, and then our diverging route. Now this one right here is operated with the Digitrax DS64. And a lot of you guys don't know about the Digitrax DS64 or have heard about them, but you don't know that they can be operated by a single push button. So we're going to come down over here to the DS64, and this right here is actually from my staging area. Now all these wires right here are all going out to your tortoise switch machines or servos, whatever it is, snap switches, whatever. These ones right here are your power in wires. Now you have all these wires up over here, and they don't really tell you that much about these things right here inside the book. However, if you see that I have 4 single black wires coming up off of these, and it's every other one. Now these wires all go up and into one common, which would be this wire. That common, which I have them wired up over here, if I touch this lead and this lead together, it's going to go ahead and throw a turnout, or this lead and this lead, so forth and so on. And just a single touch, it will go ahead and throw any one of my turnouts. So what I have done is the wires that come out onto the other side, like this one right here does, if I touch these two right here, it'll go and throw it. So a reed switch is actually operated off of a magnet. Andy and I have worked very hard in trying to come up with solutions and ways to go ahead and be able to route this. So I've actually put this into actual working mode and got the reed switches to work. Being that a reed switch is operated off of just a single contact, just a touch of the electrical component with a magnet, it then allows the contact to come in place in between these two and then throws the turnout. That's the same thing with the NCE switch 8. So what that allows me to do is stay away from having any push buttons or toggles on the layout. So my actual layout, I will have all my control panels. This is of course all Digitrax. So this is all I'm going to have up here on my fascia, along with some throttle pockets. And then hopefully I can figure out a way to recess my, because I plan on using car cards and waybills, and everything will all be recessed. You won't have no track plans coming across, there's no push buttons. You just go ahead and you wave your magnet going across for your turnout. And of course, once again, doesn't matter where you're at, it will take and throw that turnout. Now I've actually mounted these, I am narrow gauge now, so this is all HON3. So what I've done is I've measured out for my harp switch stand, and my harp switch stand will be sitting right next to all the reed switches. So there is no guesswork on this layout except for a couple little areas, such as this one. This right here would be what would be considered a main line of the branch line. And this right here would be the yard area. This is thistledew. This is actually for the logging area, or a logging section. So there will be a harp switch stand right here for this turnout. You'll be able to operate it, you'll know right where it's at. Now this turnout over here, the harp switch stand will be on the opposite side. You'll still be able to go ahead and see it. However, you can't be able to reach to the back side of it to be able to operate it. So what I've done is I still mounted 1 inch away from the rails, but straight back from the throw bar. So you know it's 1 inch out and it's sitting right there. And no matter where you're at, it will go ahead and grab that turnout to be able to go ahead and throw it. So once again, I can either use it with a DCC address off the throttle, which this one right here is numbered as 297, or I can go ahead and use the reed switch. Like I said, this kind of keeps away all the guesswork. You have just one tool that you walk around with. Being that I am going to uncouple all the cars with the pick, you'll be able to go ahead and uncouple them with the pick. When you're ready to go ahead and throw, you just flip the pick around and be able to go ahead and throw that turnout accordingly for each and every area. So I hope this helps everybody out. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, or anything else about using a reed switch, feel free to let me know. I'll be more than happy to go ahead and help out. If I have to, I'll do another video on how they work, and go ahead and get your problem solved and get you guys up and running with reed switches. I purchased all my reed switches in a bulk. There is a company out of International Falls here in Minnesota, which I picked them up for at a very reasonable price. I believe that they're only like It kind of varies upon how many you purchase. I believe they're about 75 cents a piece, something like that. For controlling a turnout, that's actually pretty cheap compared to push buttons, I feel. Plus it also goes ahead and gives it that nice clean look. Like I said, it all depends upon what you guys are after, but if you guys want just that single push button, you guys can still use a single push button up there on the fascia of the layout and still be able to have dual lights for mainline route and diverging routes, so forth and so on, and with your track panel, whatever, or you can have it set up with dual. Does not matter. If you want dual, you'll have to go ahead and go with the NCE switch 8 with the optional button board to go ahead and go with dual. Digitrax DS64s is not really set up for dual. You can run a dual push button on there, however it doesn't matter which button that you push, it's still going to go ahead and throw that turnout either way anyhow. But there's many different options to go ahead and do, and I feel that this would be a really nice look for the layout, and of course ease of use. You can also go and operate them with other switch stands too, I'm sure. But for me, in my era, the harp switch stand will look and fit into my era a lot better, and hopefully everything will work out just great. And so far everything works, I must say, simply awesome. Thank you, Andy Crawford, for all your hard work and dedication and helping me out with this project and whatnot. And I will go ahead and get out some part numbers if you guys need them, phone numbers, whatever the case may be, to go ahead and get some of these components. And if I have to, I'll go ahead and do another video. Hope you guys enjoy, and talk to you guys later.